as you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
Ooh, yeah, it's 107, episode 107. And we're going to be talking about two movies today, Zombie 3 and Zombie 4 After Death. So we got a lot of information on that this week, and honestly, I don't think we're going to be doing the news this week. Because of how much information there is. So if you're looking for your one-stop source for Zombie 3 and 4 trivia and information, you found the motherfucking place. How have you been doing, Brittany?
Good.
Yeah? Anything fun, interesting? How's your mom doing?
My mom's good. She's awesome and cute. I don't know. It's been fun. I like hanging out there. It's just, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Anymore. So
They're like, sorry, I gotta go fucking study.
I see her for like, I don't know, see her for a couple hours here and there. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey.
You're like,
So glad you came to visit, but I'm sure she's having a
go
good
back
time.
to your closet.
Yeah, she's having a good time because she doesn't have to take care of kids, so she just hangs out with my dog.
You got your hair did?
I did.
Yeah, looks good.
Cut it all off.
Yeah. Chop the fucking shit.
Yeah, I was like, just cut it off.
Well, you're getting prepared for winter?
I know. I do this I always like fuck it up. Like I don't know.
Out here in Arizona, guys, it's really hot in the summer, which we've been going through, and now we're just getting out of. And she's cutting her hair when it finally gets cool outside. So
whatever.
I celebrated Christina's birthday this week, and we had some fun. We had some breakfast that made me really sick.
Oh no.
Yeah, like violently shitting sick.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was pretty
I always
awesome.
wanted to try that place. Now I won't.
I think what it was is that they had, we went to a place called...
It's like Snooze, right?
Snooze, yeah. It was like this AM bakery. And they have all this like really great stuff. Like they have a lot of vegetarian options. And I think they cooked their hash browns in meat. And so when I ate it, I think I got really sick.
Well, they probably cooked it on the same,
I think that's what it was.
Because the meat on.
She didn't get sick.
Like
she ate some of mine. Like I ate, like, I don't know. It was just crazy, man. So, but yeah, guys, picture that. I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
Brittany and I also are going to be watching the new Mandy movie by Panos Cosmatos, who did the Beyond the Black Rainbow. So next week, guys, we will be doing a review. Is it next week? Yeah,
yep.
It's next week.
Next
we'll be
week.
doing a review of that movie, and I think Christina might join us. And
Mouse is coming.
If Mouse is going, then he'll probably join us too. So we'll have Mike set up. So that'll be interesting. It's going to be a late night, that one, because there's only one showing, and it's an advanced screening.
I know. And there's like interviews with the director and Nicolas Cage that they're showing before the movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
they're
what I
actually
read.
going to be there?
Not there, but
Oh.
they're interviews like I'm assuming filmed that they're playing before the movie. That's what I read somewhere.
I was excited.
Oh
for
no,
that.
I would be. I
was happy about the movie, but then,
Nicolas
like-
Cage was gonna be there. I'd be like, bah!
You know, it's funny too
I'd bring
because
Jenny's Nicolas Cage pillow and be like, "Can you sign your face?"
a lot of people make fun of me because I like the movie Mom and Dad a lot. I loved it. And if
would they make
this
fun of you for
movie,
it?
if this movie's as good as I hope it is, that could mean that there's two of my favorite movies this year with Nicolas Cage, which is totally beyond me. So I'm curious to see if it'll fit in that list. I've been writing him down each time I watch a movie. So
Okay.
I'm really hoping that this one's gonna blow the fucking doors off.
It looks so good.
It looks like it's fucking the devil's candy meets like fucking Nick Cage and like his crazy antics. And I've heard from people who have seen the movie that it is everything you want from a Nick Cage freakout movie.
Perfect.
So I'm all about it, guys. Hope you're excited about it. We will be doing a spoiler-free discussion, of course, first, so don't have to worry about that. And I did watch another movie called Trench 11, which I was kind of disappointed about. And I was hoping it was going to be really good because I like those old, like, World War II fucking, like, supernatural movies because there's always, like, some crazy shit like The Devil's Rock.
Yeah.
But this movie, I don't know, the acting was really weird. And it almost, I mean, I'm not trying to put it down, but I mean, it's decent. It just wasn't what I was expecting. But it seems like they were trying to make a super, like, warrior from Canada in it. I was like, this has to be a Canadian film.
Sweet.
Because the main star is this one-off tunneler named, I don't remember his name is, but he's this alcoholic Canadian who's serving in the war as a tunneler while there's British and American soldiers with him. And I was like, and he's like the main star. And I'm like, this is totally Canadian. And then by the end, it's like made in Manitoba. And
yeah. I love Canadians. Sign me the fuck up.
No offense to you guys out there, but I saw it coming from a mile away.
I support you, Canadians.
Canada. Anyway,
I know what it's all about.
There's a lot of stuff coming out, guys, so we're going to try to cover as much as we can. Also, for you guys that like video games and horror games and shit like that, I do a stream. I try not to promote it too much on the podcast too much, but I want to tell you guys about it. If you ever want to come by, you can go to twitch.tv/DEKONREIGHN and come hang out with us. We usually hang out at 5 PT, so Pacific time. But guys, I think it's about that time.
Get your titties out.
Oh, shit. Horse shots! We have a shot that we always try to make for one of the movies that we pick each week when we do the movies. And this week, we're talking about Zombie 3 and Zombie 4 After Death. We decided to pick Zombie 3 for this shot. If you've seen the movie, then you know that it's about some sort of contagion or spread virus that they basically created to try to bring people back to life. They've tested it on animals, and now they're testing it on humans right off the bat in the beginning of the movie. And of course, shit goes awfully wrong. Well, the name of that fucking thing...
Don't say.
Yeah, go figure. One of the name that they called this compound is called Death 1. So we created a shot based on Zombie 3, Death 1 compound. So the shot's called Death 1 shot, I guess. Yeah. So this is based on a cocktail that I looked up, and there's a cocktail called Death in the Afternoon. And I was like trying to figure out what is a fucking ingredient that we don't always use.
Absinthe.
And so, yeah, I looked up absinthe. So it's a Death in the Afternoon with a twist because we add a couple ingredients and we do it a little bit differently. So you're going to want to drink this from a champagne glass.
That's how white trash people say champagne.
It's like Tarjay.
Champagne, yeah.
If you're going to want to drink it from a champagne glass, though, you're going to pour about half a flute of champagne and then one shot of your choice of absinthe, whatever you can get. And then you're going to pour in about a fourth of a shot of Sambuca. And then you're going to chase it with a cherry.
Sambuca.
Yeah, so it's cherry back. Dude, it sounds fucking delicious, and I wish we could try it right now.
I do too.
I don't know why I had to stop drinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Rude.
You fucking liver.
Ruined my life.
But yeah, guys, I definitely, if you guys have these ingredients or are interested in looking them up, please do a video and show us that you taken this shot. We would love to have that. We'd share it with our friends and share it online and give you a big shout out on the cast, everything, you know.
Show my mom.
We've had people do them before and take videos, and sometimes we even actually give away stuff to people who do that. But I'm not saying this time, but I'm just saying.
We might.
Most
likely.
You never
probably.
know.
Just make a video.
But if you guys would like to make a Death One shot, based on the movie Zombie 3. All you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag horror shot section now. Well, that's it for horror shots. All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into our flesh and potatoes of Zombie 3 and
Zombie 4 After Death.
So let's go ahead and do that right
Now.
All right, guys, so we're going to kick it off in order because, you know, we have to. I have to, or I'll have a seizure.
This is what breaks Alex.
Right, yeah. What?
Not
Four
chronolog-
first?
What?
Four?
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
So Zombie 3 came out in 1988. Although I saw an interview in one of the movies, both of the movies, I can't remember which one it was, that they were saying that some of the dates were off from IMDb. But they made the movies, you know, years before, I guess, and then they got put out. But I want to preface this for you guys because there are a lot of zombie movies that have nothing to do with the Lucio Fulci movies based on Dawn of the Dead. I'll go into more explanation of that, but there's a lot of crazy overlapping in the titles Zombie 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 7. There's been many movies that have been created under those titles that literally were nothing to do with Fulci's, including this one, surprisingly enough. But to be clear, this is the unofficial Zombie 3 that we're talking about. So are you confused?
I am.
Welcome.
Take a number.
The story about Zombie 3 is when a terrorist body infected with a stolen chemical is cremated by the U.S. military, a virus is unintentionally released into the atmosphere over a small island.
It's like, I love the fact that they're like, what a terrorist. I'm all, they don't ever introduce the fact that he's a terrorist.
No,
like,
he's
why?
just
He's Asian. He's just a terrorist. Like,
What was he? I don't think he was
it
Asian.
was like it was like some type of like island.
They shot everything in the Philippines.
Yeah, so he's Filipino.
Yeah,
right?
but then no, there was just like a regular white guy just running through the woods.
But I'm like, what? Why is he a terrorist?
Oh, I don't know.
There's no backstory about that, and I thought that was funny too because it's in the description, and I'm just like, huh? Why is that important? They don't discuss this.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this movie is technically directed by two people. Although if you asked one over the other, or if one was still around talking about Lucio Fulci, he would probably tell you, they would probably say that both of them directed it. But Bruno Mattei is the second unit operator, and I'll tell you about him too. But it's directed technically by Lucio Fulci, who's done movies like Zombie, aka Zombie 2, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters. He did City of the Living Dead, The Beyond, House by the Cemetery, How to Torture a Duckling, many movies. Like, he's a legend in the Italian scene. Now, also, like I said, Bruno Mattei is the second unit director. He says he's done about 40% of the film technically, but he said it's Fulci's stamp. And I'm not sure if he's saying that because he thinks the movie's shit or because out of respect, because you could tell that these people really respect him, as anyone would. But he's directed movies like Strike Commando 1 and 2, Island of the Living Dead, Zombies the Beginning, The Other Hell, Rats, Night of Terror, Scalps, Shocking Dark, and Robo-War, to name a few. It was written by Claudio Fragasso, who was also a director. He's done the movies and written Troll 2, Hell of the Living Dead, The Other Hell, Rats, Night of Terror. He's also directed Monster Dog, Beyond the Darkness, Night Killer. We've talked about him numerous times before. He and Bruno Mattei have worked together in the same film company, so they kind of worked under the same production wheelhouse that produced a lot of movies out there, including this one, obviously, and the next one, Zombie 4. It was also co-written by Rosella Drudy, who has pretty much worked on everything that Claudio Fragasso has done, and a few extra things. So I won't go over every single one, but she's really awesome. If you ever see interviews of them together, they're always together. I think they're married.
They're married, yeah.
But she kept her last name, I guess. I don't know. It's also produced by Franco Gaudenzi. He is the producer of Strike Commando 2, Robo-War, Alien from the Deep, Shocking Dark, After Death, which is Zombie 4, Born to Fight, Night Killer. It also has special effects and makeup by Franco de Girolamo, I think that's how you say it. He's done Nightmare City, Zombie 4 After Death, The Black Cat, The New York Ripper, Strike Commando 2, Robo War, Shocking Dark, and Night Killer. You're going to hear a lot of the similar movies, by the way, as I was doing the research on this, so just bear with us.
Yeah, it's a lot of repeats.
Yeah, because everybody seems to be working together on these films that we're talking about, so they all seem to kind of recycle people. Some of the cast is Daron Sarafian, who plays Kenny. He acted in a few movies, but he's actually really known for being a director, actually. So he's been in movies for acting as Plankton.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Creatures from the Abyss. Yeah, and also Interzone. He directed and wrote Alien Predators, which is a movie I still want to get. It's also known as The Falling. Interzone, Terminal Velocity, an episode of The Twilight Zone in the 2000s. He did 8 episodes of CSI Miami, episodes of an episode of Lost. He did 22 episodes of House, the TV show. He also did like 6 episodes of Hemlock Grove and with The Strain and just many, many more.
I love The Strain.
So it's crazy that he's in such a brood of like... Mm-hmm. stuff. So he's not just an actor, you know? Also, it stars Beatrice Ring, who plays Patricia. She was in the movies Interzone, The Sicilian Connection, and more stuff I can't pronounce or know of. No offense to anyone. Also, it stars Ottaviano Del Acqua. He plays Roger. He's mostly a stuntman in many, many films. We've actually talked about him before. I won't go through them all because he has about 82 acting credits and 198 stunt credits. So he's the zombie in the first Fulci zombie movie that comes up out of the ground, the big iconic picture. He acted in Nightmare City, The Beyond, Escape from Galaxy 3, 2019 After the Fall of New York, which, by the way, when 2019 comes around, maybe we should watch that.
Yeah.
Just to see a comparison to today.
I'm interested.
He also starred in Strike Commando 2, Zombie 4, and many more. I also mentioned he did some stunts before in John Wick Chapter 2, Rome, the TV series, the Stalingrad Syndrome, and Red Sonja, to name a few. It also stars Massimo Vanni, who plays Bo. He's also a part stuntman, but he's also more of an actor. He's acted in the 1990 The Bronx Warriors, Warriors of the Wasteland, Escape the Bronx, Rats, Night of Terror, and Zombie 4 and Wax Mask. It also stars Yuli Reinthaler. She plays Nancy. She was in Enigma, which is another Fulci film, and only this movie. Also stars Marina Loy, who plays Carol. She was in Demons 2 and Antithesis. But other than that, that is enough for the cast and crew. Brittany, what do you think of this movie? This is your first time?
Yeah, so I went in with like really low expectations for both of these movies, to be honest.
Okay.
Because you don't really think that when you get this far into a franchise, whether it's a part of the franchise or not part of the actual franchise.
Right,
it's kind
yeah.
of like you're confused about it in general. And then the fact that these are 80s movies, you never really know what you're going to get with it. It's like
right,
a box
yeah.
of chocolates. Anyway, I ended up being pleasantly surprised.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't. I
was expecting you to get pissed for watching this.
No, I was expecting to be pissed too, but I wasn't. I expected another "fuck you, Alex" like moment at the end of it, but no. I feel like it's you laugh at parts you're not supposed to laugh at.
Right.
My mom didn't think I was watching a scary movie because she kept hearing me laugh. She's just like, I'm hearing screaming, and then you going, ha ha. She's like, what the fuck? I don't understand what's happening. I don't know. I think like obviously it's a very recycled kind of story concept. Okay. I feel like maybe not then,
sure,
but now, for both of the movies. But the acting's not terrible. The dubbing is questionable, but that's just the fucking way it is.
It's pretty bad, actually. Yeah, it's worse than the fourth one.
Yeah. Well, the fourth one's like a lot of like English speaking actors.
Well, yeah, I think there was only 2 people on this one that were speaking English.
Yeah.
Or no, that spoke Italian.
They spoke Italian. Yeah. So it's interesting. But I don't know. These are enjoyable movies to me. They're ones that I would watch again. Maybe not so much the fourth one, but the third one I liked a lot.
Okay.
So they're interesting stories. The concepts are cool. The zombies are fun. It has a better story to tell. I feel like it's more concise. It makes more sense. So I was really surprised. I didn't think it was going to be as fun as it was, but it was entertaining.
Okay.
So And I liked I thought they had decent chemistry with each other. There was just a lot of stupid fucking moments, but
Yeah.
I was like, why? Why is this happening?
I know. It's like, this isn't like one of Fulci's greatest movies, first off. I mean, to give you guys a little bit of history on the whole franchise and why it began, if you've ever heard of Zombie, which is the American title, they also called it Zombie 2, I believe. And in the UK, it was called Zombie Flesh Eaters, which is what started this whole Italian thing. But before that, George Romero made his most popular film, in my opinion, which is Dawn of the Dead. I don't know if it's his most popular. Night of the Living Dead is probably the most popular, but I think
remembered.
Dawn of the Dead is the epitome of great zombie film, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The first one you cannot shake a stick at because it created an entire genre, but as far as an entertaining one, Dawn of the Dead has always been popular. And that movie was actually released in Italy like almost a year before it came out to America. I think it was like 6 months, I believe it was.
Right, yeah.
Which we just hit the 40th anniversary recently, guys.
Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
Holy fuck.
And the Italian release anniversary. So, but Lucio Fulci, the Italian director, he loved the film so much, as did many people, and he decided that he wanted to make a sequel to it in Italy, which in Italy, Dawn of the Dead, I believe, was actually called Zombie, or he decided to make a sequel called Zombie 2, aka Zombie Flesh Eaters, aka, you know, the list goes on there, but it started a whole zombie craze over in Italy, so it was pretty inevitable that they were probably going to make some sort of sequel at some point. Although I don't think many people thought it was going to be this movie.
Yeah.
So Zombie 3 was born of this, and it essentially borrows the name, but it doesn't really have anything to do with Dawn of the Dead or its unofficial Italian sequel, Zombie 2. In fact, I feel it borrows more from films like Nightmare City and Return of the Living Dead more than any of the earlier zombie movies or Dawn of the Dead. So, to me personally, but you got infected people being burned, and the ash causes people to be infected and turn. Then even steal a sort of line from Return of the Living Dead where he said, "I can smell your brains." But there was a guy riding in a car in this movie who says, "I want to drink your blood." And he's like, "I want to drink your brains," like that or something. And I was like, oh, dude, that's like a ripoff right there. But also in Nightmare City, the zombies were animated and like running and like carrying guns and shit like that, and like really fast. So I kind of compare it to that as well, because they're like hyper aggro zombies that can sometimes even speak. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know. And that's like, I don't know. I got so kind of frustrated with both of these movies because not with the ones that can talk or whatever, but I'm like, what are you? Are you a fast zombie, a slow zombie?
Right.
What's happening?
It kind of has like a mix of them.
There's a mixture, yeah.
And I'll
one zombie's
explain
never
more,
the same.
because like the people who wrote it were saying that they have this like mutation theory that they think that zombies should mutate and change and not just be slow walking zombies. So. But they even have birds that get infected in this one that spread a virus more. You know, it's a schlock hoedown of zombie proportions, pretty much. They jump around from ceilings, wield weapons, charge at people, making weird, distorted sort of Evil Dead 2 voices, screeching, you know what I mean? And then tackling people and fucking manhandling everybody. Like,
Interesting.
They got exploding heads, infected animals. I mean, you name it. It's a fun movie to me, but I think it's definitely an acquired taste thing for a lot of people. I think if you're a fan of the zombie movie that Fulci first did, then you might appreciate this one, or you could hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a fair, it's going to divide people, I think.
I mean, I feel like Zombie is an acquired taste for people.
I think that's his most popular film.
It is, because a lot of people just don't get it. They don't care for it either.
Personally, I'm a City of the Living Dead fan, but everybody has their first Fulci film as their favorite because they'd never seen anything like that before.
Right.
So... but it's definitely not the same brood of direction or talent as its predecessor, so the first zombie movie. But it's still fun to watch in the so bad it's good category, but you absolutely can't go wrong with the cover of this film, which, holy fucking shit, does that... If you guys remember, if you're old enough, we used to fucking rent movies in stores and see pictures of the movies before we had internet on the walls, and that was our internet. And if I saw this fucking thing on the wall, I would be like, holy shit, I'm watching that tonight. They got the fist with the fucking zombie eyes, a couple of zombies, and the girl screaming. It looks fucking beautiful. Like, the colors are everything. I want the poster, even though I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. But
yeah, the poster art's amazing for both.
I think the poster's probably better than the movie, in my opinion. But
it sells it better.
Yeah. But, I mean, even if you hate the movie, you have to love this, which I think is part of why people even... know about this one as well. That, and it was during a time when Fulci was really sick, and it was kind of towards the end of his career and everything. You got a few songs in it. They aren't really amazing, but I think they're pretty decent. One's like a rock track, and one's like this fast action music that they did. I thought it was pretty decent. And actually, the Blu-rays that I got, from Severin, I got part 3 and 4. They both come with the soundtrack.
Oh, cool.
With the movie. So not just in the movie, like a separate disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
awesome.
I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that.
That's really cool. It's a nice touch.
I think so. But the music's done by Zach S. Magnetti, which I'm glad they included in there. So the lighting in this one I thought was a little overdone, but it kind of is cool to give it that kind of like weird aesthetic. Everything's green lit in the backgrounds to show some sort of infection move. Seems way more artistic than the movie kind of was, I think. But I don't know. It's got that 80s metal rock band video feel to it.
Yeah, it totally does.
To kind of give you that. It
absolutely feels that way the entire movie.
It's totally backlit like a fucking 80s hairband fucking video. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It feels very like, I don't know, AC/DC.
Right, or something.
Like,
I don't know.
Maybe not AC/DC, but like Metallica kind of, like, not hair metal, but...
Like, I always think of, like, Slumber Party Massacre, which I really want to watch part 1 and 2, by the way.
Do that. I'm okay with that.
I would love to do that, but...
I like Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, they don't normally do lighting like that unless it's like one of those retro pastiche movies, kind of like Hobo with a Shotgun and stuff, which is really cool.
Is so dope. Love that shit.
It just felt a little weird to this one compared to what we had seen with Zombie, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The gore in this one is, I would say it's actually more mild than you would see in Zombie. So if you've never seen this and you're looking for like those showpieces we always talk about, which Fulci was like notorious for, is showcasing the special effects and the talented people that worked for him. But not much to show here. There's a few okay, like kind of gore scenes, but nothing like really crazy. Just some exploding heads, couple limbless things, people cutting their stuff off. But nothing like over the top crazy that would blow your mind and you go, oh my God, that's my favorite scene ever. This is not that movie. So some of the zombies in it I thought actually looked really cool. There was one in particular that I loved, and I'll talk about that later. But most in this movie were kind of meh. I wasn't
terrible.
No. It's just, I don't know, man. But I'd say in the end, guys, the film follows a story from start to finish. I don't think it's like a deep one.
No.
But it is a story nonetheless that you can kind of follow. The movie feels kind of detached and all over the place. And there's a reason why, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. But it's your typical Italian acting in this one with really crappy dubs, silly dialogue and extremely campy stuff. I'll say that this movie has grown on me as I've rewatched it over the years. So it's kind of become one of those ones that I kind of go to, not every year, but I'm like, I'm not disappointed when I watch it. So, but it's not amazing, but it's fun to throw on once in a while. See an Italian zombie film. I think it has probably the better bird attack scene than Birdemic as a whole. Even though that movie's so bad it's good, I can't watch that movie again. I will never watch that movie again.
I can't take anything seriously that's not the birds
when
it comes to bird attack movies. I'm just like, I'm sorry, Alfred Hitchcock did it the best. Leave it alone.
Well, and Birdemic, which is just like shoestring budget. They made a movie on a shoestring budget. And a lot of these movies that we watch, movies.
Is that the fifth one? Well, no, they're the fifth one to this is Birds.
It's called Killing Birds.
Killing Birds, yeah. Whatever. It's ridiculous. And I was like, oh, they just, okay.
Yeah.
They just went from 3 and then ran with the okay.
I'm kind of hoping, and I don't know if Severin is listening to this, You guys got to let me know if you're going to be putting out the 5th one on Blu-ray, because I got to get it anyway, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get 3 and 4, but I am so fucking glad I did, because those Blu-rays, for one, not just as the quality's pretty damn good, they put in some old interviews and extras and stuff like that, but as a whole, just having the music, the movie, and a black clamshell case is fucking fantastic. It just makes the artwork pop.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love it. Like, I could stare at these posters, guys, for like hours, and I have to get the fucking Zombie 3 poster, even though it's not one of my favorites.
It's really cool.
It's like just beautiful. Like, I just want it. So if any of you out there agree with me, shout out in the comments. But so I've been alluding to some of the trivia that I've been wanting to tell you guys about. Now, the producer, Guardenzi, wanted Fulci to direct it, not Bruno Mattei or Fragasso, who worked for him on numerous projects. So there was a little bit of, people admitted that obviously Fulci was the big man, but they wanted their hand at it, their shot at it. I think Bruno Mattei more than anybody. But Fulci was definitely sick during this time. He was okay when they were pre-producing it, but then when it came time to go to the Philippines, he found out that he was sick with liver cancer. I guess he found out before, but when he went there, it started affecting him like really strong. So he had a really rough time there, and he wasn't able to shoot everything. So they had him do a second unit. Now, there's a story on this because Fulci is known by many people to be like the kind of guy who puts his actors through the ringer a little bit. He can be a little rough on people. Those he really liked, he wouldn't be, but he was really tough because he was extremely passionate. And some people, weren't too fond of that. But everybody respects his talent. So, but apparently Fulci did long canoeing scenes for this movie to make the film 90 minutes. And, the producer Guardenzi was furious with this choice because he literally shot over an hour of canoeing on purpose. So, and I'll explain why. Fulci shot an hour's worth of canoeing. He ended up firing Fulci's editor for this and made Fragasso and his wife Rosella rewrite the whole movie, which Fulci didn't even like the story 100% from the get.
Begin with, yeah.
So Fragasso said he would only rewrite it if Fulci agreed, and Fulci gave his blessing. But it's funny because Fulci hated the production on this movie because they wouldn't allow him to make the movie he wanted. They didn't prepare it well enough because he's a perfectionist. And so as an act of revenge, he shot those long canoeing scenes to waste money as a middle finger to fucking the producer.
Oh my God.
In fact, this is a quote from Fulci saying this. He said, "I don't repudiate any of my movies except Zombie 3, but that movie's not mine. It's the most foolish of my productions. It has been done by a group of idiots." That's what he's quoted as saying.
Oh shit.
I don't know if that's 100% true, but it was on Wiki, and
Ouch.
He's pretty passionate, so I don't doubt it. You could tell that Fragasso is highly respecting of Fulci.
Yeah.
The way he talks about him and stuff in the interviews and shit. So, but I just thought it was funny because it sounds like
him.
Yeah, because apparently a lot of people said he was very sarcastic. As I mentioned before, Bruno said that he probably did about 40% of the film. When they had to go back to do the reshoots, the actors didn't want to come back to the set in the Philippines. They asked them to, but they were like, "Fuck no, I ain't going back to that shithole." I know.
Damn.
That's what they said. They're like, they may not say that, but that's what they felt like.
Yeah.
Some of them had prior engagements, but because they were out there for 5 or 6 weeks. So, but yeah, they said that they were like, fuck you. We aren't going back to that shithole. But I guess some of the conditions, because it was so fucking hot.
It's Philippines.
Yeah, it's not a normal condition of weather.
The 80s.
They literally have floods there 4 or 5 times a year that wash out their houses, and they have to rebuild them.
That's bad.
That's how bad it is. And the areas that they were filming. Mm-hmm. Apparently during the shooting of this, because Fulci had cancer of the liver, he asked some of the Filipino medicine doctors to work on him. And Fragasso said that he, where they kind of push on your body and pretend to do surgery and pull out chunks of meat. It's like a sleight of hand magic trick. You've never seen this?
No.
Are you fucking serious?
I've never seen this.
Oh my God, I'll have to show you some of this. Basically what they do is they push on his body and knead on his stomach or whatever. And they go, oh, there's some cancer here. I got to get that out. And then they pull a chunk of meat out like a magic trick, even though it's not. They're saying it's from his body, but it's just rotted meat.
Weird. And
then he pulls it out and throws it out. Fragasso was like, they really kind of fucked with him on that. He was like, I didn't like that. They kind of took advantage of him. Thought it was interesting though. Bruno, I was saying, he was second unit. So any of the very beginning of the movie where the guy steals all this stuff, Bruno made that up on the spot. Any of the guys in the white suits that are cleaning up all the people and killing all the zombies and the people, he shot any of them. And the end of the movie. So everything else is Fulci's. Interesting though. I didn't even know that. And also another thing is that this location that they shot was actually the same location where they shot Apocalypse Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Same hotel, same everything. It had just been derelict for a long time and they hadn't really done anything with it. But that's where they actually shot the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history on that too that I'll get into when we get into Zombie 4 a little bit. But yeah, I just thought it was pretty interesting. And if you didn't notice, guys, if you've seen this movie, there's a scene where they put an infected body in the like furnace. On either side, you got Bruno Mattei on the left and Claudio Fragasso on the right. So they are actual actors in that scene because they had to add it in.
That's cute.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. You know, they got low budget. They can't just go hiring people. They're like, I'll fucking stand in.
Yeah.
We don't need to pay anybody for this.
Just turn your back to the camera.
I don't even think Bruno got paid.
Fuck that.
For the movie. Yeah. Like he just did his regular salary job.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting. Did you have any standout scenes that you enjoyed or?
I like the first major scene in the movie, obviously, where they inject or infect or whatever the dude that they have in like a. Is he in like he looks like he's in like a time capsule. Yeah,
they put him in like some sort of infection chamber.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
it's like a human Tupperware.
Right.
Essentially.
Where he breaks through. Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
But I love that change. I thought was cool. So as he starts changing from being human to becoming a zombie, it's interesting. Like, it's not bad. The effects are cool. But I love the doctor, scientist, whatever, and the chick in that entire scene because they're so stupid.
Oh, my God. And dude, they're doctor...
just fucking standing there the whole time, and they're watching this happen, like, all of this unfold, right? With, like, this dude changing to becoming a super, like, violent...
And they don't leave the room.
And they don't leave the room.
I know.
They're just standing there the whole time, and she's just like, and the noises coming out of her. I'm just like, stop.
Dude, the guy who plays the main scientist or whatever, he was so crazy, like always yelling. Like that was the only time in the movie where he wasn't yelling, is that part. Like, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs all the time, and it's way too animated.
It's crazy. But like that, you know, and this is in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, that's one of the moments where I'm like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is hilarious because they're so fucking, I'm like, leave the room. What are you fucking doing? Like, but there's so many moments in this movie where you're just like, oh, okay. Then this is how they made this.
What?
This is how they made this a zombie movie. This is how they make it. You know, it's very obvious that it's a horror movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
They follow so many different like tropes, I guess, as far as like.
Well, it's always up in the air how the zombie.
The noise.
Yeah, like it's always up in the air how the zombie thing starts, but everybody has their own spin on it. That's why I always think that it's more like Hell of the Living Dead or. Return of the Living Dead, or, you know, it's always some chemical or whatever. Those are just a little bit different. But, because I think zombie was just voodoo. Straight up voodoo.
I think so, yeah.
So,
but it's just like, it's so incredibly predictable.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't bother me with this movie like it would with any other one. Like, you know what's going to happen before it happens. Like, you know, moments that are leading up to stuff before it gets to that point. Like, you know, when the chick and that dude separate themselves from the group to go off to do whatever the fuck they're doing.
Okay.
Like, at first I'm all, they're going to go fuck somewhere. You know, I was like, please let them do it. And I was like, I thought they were, and I was going to be all excited because they were going to kill him during a sex scene, but it didn't happen.
Do you know, now that I'm thinking about it, something that they did that's really good. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Outbreak, where with the monkey.
Monkeys, yeah.
And then they kind of follow like where somebody touches a cup. And I think like they did an actually decent job. And this is way before Outbreak. You know, I think the Outbreak came out in like the 90s.
Yeah. As far as I know, it was like mid-90s.
It had Dustin Hoffman in it. Yeah.
I like that movie.
Patient Zero, and they were always talking about that.
Yeah, I actually really like that movie.
Well, there's a part in this where, like, okay, so, like, the guy gets, you know, steals the shit as the guy's trying to transport it in this, like, really ridiculous way in a helicopter, and somebody comes out and shoots everybody and fucking takes the fucking antigen, or not the antigen, it would be the fucking virus from him, knocks him out, and then the infective thief goes and runs to a hospital after it drops out of his hand, because this helicopter's like shooting at him, and he drops it and it cuts his hand, and he like, it starts getting infected, and you could tell he's like gonna turn. So he decides to go into this hotel and he cuts his fucking hand off.
That scene was cool.
It was cool, but then the maid comes in.
Oh, yeah. Oh
and
my God, I forgot about that part.
This is the part that kind of tripped me out, because I'm like thinking to myself, like, first of all, she's like, hello, is anybody in here? Hello, me fluff your pillow? No, but she comes in to clean up and like, what do they call it? Turn down the fucking room?
Yeah.
Turn down for what?
Turn down.
She was like, yeah, she was all like breaking her ass, like popping, locking and shit.
I love that song. Turn down for what?
Anyway, she goes in and the guy's in the bathroom after he cut off his hand, right? And so she knocks on the bathroom door because he's unresponsive. And then she's like, sir, are you okay? And then she opens it up and she's like, oh my God, there's a hand in the sink. Let me go towards it for some odd reason.
Gotta clean that up.
Yeah. And then she comes in closer to look at it again, even more. When she already knows what it is, her reaction's pretty fucking clear. And then he smashes her face against the mirror, but not in the way that you would think, like smashing the glass. Like that would have been
so
cool.
Weird.
He just kind of like, it's almost like he was like, oh, I want to be careful so I don't hurt her. And then just blood comes out of her mouth, like ridiculously.
She's like very obviously just had a bunch of blood in her mouth. And then as soon as he pressed her cheeks up against the mirror, she just spits it out.
Yeah, like it made no sense.
A lot of those moments.
Yeah, and it's funny too because it reminded me of the Boogeyman when the kid comes in the window and the blood just comes out of his mouth.
Oh my God, it's like one of my favorite scenes. I laugh so hard.
But yeah, that's
so fucking hard.
But then it goes further, right? So she spits the blood out, and then all the people, the containment unit comes upstairs and find her nailed to the door, like this
knife,
rickety,
right? The knife he
yeah,
used to cut his
like
arm
one of
off.
those fucking like
like
closet
a bamboo
doors,
door.
yeah. It's got the slats where it's like pointed down, and she's and like the guy with his one hand. Fucking stabbed her up, like so her feet are not touching the ground in some sort of Michael Myers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
like the dude, the kitchen knife in the kitchen,
Right.
on the pantry door, or
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
She's just sitting there, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so bad."
Stupid. I like like leading up to before he gets to into the room though. When he gives he comes in, like, I need a room. Sorry, sir, we're all filled up. And then he like slams down like $2 bills. Is what it looks like.
Oh,
Two like crumpled up fucking.
That's what Christina said.
Crunchy ass dollar bills, and the guy's like, "Oh wait."
He said, "I want a room." I said, "I want a room."
Here's my $2.
I think there was a $20 and like $5 bills. So I'm like, $25? He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, in that case, I do have a room."
Yeah, I'm like, come on, like at least get like a fresh, crispy hundy.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Or something. What the hell is that? It looked
it was
like
a-
two crumpled up dollar bills. Again, another moment where I was like,
Small budget.
I was like, this is funny. Like no one on the crew had like $100 bill they could borrow.
Think about it this way:
But
they're
it's Philippines too.
They're
so-
Italian and they're in the Philippines, so
Right.
finding American money had to have been tough.
Oh, I'm sure.
It might not even have been real.
It doesn't look like it. It literally looks like crumpled up dollar bills. And I don't know. I think it was 120 and then like a single or something. It was a
Okay.
weird, like, I was like, I literally examined that as much as I could, which sounds so stupid. But
Did you have another scene?
the bird attack scene was pretty great.
Okay, I like that.
On the bus or whatever, like, cause it was a bus, right?
Yeah,
Those-
well,
or no,
it was a camper.
Camper,
Yeah.
yeah, like the camper trailer that the chicks are in. The back and forth between the chicks on this camper and the dudes in the cars.
He's always snapping his fingers like the fawns.
Yeah, it's terrible. It is so 80s.
He's
so
like, yeah, I just
cheesy.
want to have sex, man.
So crappy. And they're military, right? The dudes, yeah, they're military.
Yeah.
So I just remember because later he's, we're one of you when they,
They're Americans.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that whole exchange between the chicks and them is really funny, but then the birds attack and I'm just like, fuck yeah.
Right.
It's so stupid.
It was pretty silly.
Again, more
but I
scenes
liked
where
it
I'm
because
just, like, laughing my ass off. For
you
no
see
reason.
the bird on the ground. He's like, "Oh, look! It looks like it's moving." Do you remember that part?
Yes, I laughed. Again, another one. Rob.
And then it bites his face, and he's like, "Oh!" And then she hugs him, like, "Oh my God, you poor little child!" Like he's like he can't help himself. Like I was like, "What the fuck?"
I totally forgot about those two, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Which
it was
is
just-
sad
'cause there's so many
another scene with them later that I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Guys, there's so many different types of fucking groups in this. There's like the
Yeah.
army guys, you got the scientists, then you got the military fucking compound, then you got this like random group of girls, random couple, I guess, and then
Yeah, I
there's
don't know.
other people too somewhere else. There's a lot of fucking characters
There's
in
a
this
lot.
movie.
It jumbles all over the place, but it's still. I felt it was still easy enough story to follow. It's just there's a couple side stories along with the main story.
It was a little hard to follow along for
A little
me.
bit, but it's still like to me, it still made sense. So I was
Right.
like, I get it. Like they're just trying to follow different stories, but and show how far this spreads.
So-
But then they all end up coming together. It's anyway, which is weird, but whatever.
One of the things that really bugged me is, and I know that they put it in this movie intentionally, but it just pisses me off. It's one of those things where you're just like fucking mad at the character and you're mad at the writing a little bit. Like, okay, so the scientists, you know, they get this shit out in the open. They finally contain it because they find the guy who is infected. But even though technically there's another guy who works at the hotel who touched the glass and gets infected, that they don't know about, but it probably wouldn't have spread as bad as it had if the fucking military guy that's in charge of this whole fucking operation to contain it didn't burn the fucking body. And the scientist goes up to him and he's like, did it ever occur to you that maybe you shouldn't burn a body that might spread contaminants into the atmosphere? And he's like, oh, that's science fiction. What are you talking about? And he walks off like, fuck you. Then, this is the part that really gets me pissed, right? So later, when it's apparent that the cause of the spread is definitely because of the fucking goddamn fucking burning people, like the burning infection that's in the air and mutated, the scientist exclaims in a rather extremely animated and wild and poor acted way that he's working on an antidote, and he's like freaking out when he's telling this officer, this like head officer, and the same army guy who said, you know, oh, that's science fiction, says, we need to shoot all the infected people. And the scientist says, no, we might have a cure. The army guy says, we're just simple soldiers. We don't know anything about your science things, or we don't do science thing. That's your job. You let us do ours. I'm like, you motherfucker.
I would have just shot that dude.
Yeah, well, he would have died if that would have happened.
Well, yeah, but it's worth it. I'm like, sorry, worth it. Like, yeah, that I agree with you on that. That exchange in general, I'm just like,
We're
why?
just simple military guys.
I'm
We
like-
do what we're told. I was like, well, where the fuck was that concept when you fucking burned the body, jackass?
Right. It's so fucking stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, I agree with you on that. I was like, come on, seriously? And then
What's another scene? What do you got?
so the chick and that guy, I don't remember their fucking names.
Yeah,
They disappear to go find help or something. What the fuck did they go? Because I don't remember why they leave.
I
all
don't
of their
know
friends.
which scene you're talking about.
Okay, so it ends up with it's just her and this guy. She ends up getting tackled by the zombie out of this like second story window
Okay, kind of vaguely remember that.
into this like lake pond.
Oh, where she loses her legs?
Yeah.
Oh, that chick.
Or whatever. Like
Yeah, like she's like out of the water. I kept making those noises and Christina was laughing. Because
like
she's like...
it's not an amazing scene by any means, like because it's like cool. It's just so ridiculous. And I'm like, where'd her legs go?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm
she
like,
said
what the
that they
fuck?
actually tied them behind her back.
No, I meant like who ate them or why'd they get removed?
Zombies
Like,
in
where
the water, bro.
I guess, but they don't show any until the ones coming out of a cave.
You don't see blood come up?
There's
Nothing.
no blood. Yeah, there's literally no lead up to that moment, but it is kind of cool when he discovers that she has no legs and then she starts attacking him, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, what the hell?
I
But
got no legs.
I got no legs. Like Lieutenant Dan, you got
Chink,
no
chink.
legs. But I like then he's like, throws her off of him or whatever the fuck he does and throws her back into the lake, and then she just disappears.
Oh, yeah. He just pushes her off.
She never comes back around. He just pushes her off, and then he, like, starts trying to leave and then keeps coming into contact with all these random
water zombies.
Like, no, he gets out. Like, he eventually gets out of the water, and then he's going up these stairs and comes into contact. Like, the zombie, like, comes behind a fucking plastic fence or some shit from the trees. Like,
yeah,
they're all coming out of fucking nowhere. Like, no sign of any of this before, and they're just like,
and they're all fucking hyper crazy,
and
dude.
They're weird. Like, some of them are super slow and like classic zombie, and then some of them are like really fast moving and like gymnasts,
right?
And it's nuts.
Well, like I said, they talked about like how the writers, he said
the mutation, right?
Yeah, some people prefer slow zombies, and some of us like fast zombies, and some of us like mutated zombies that change on a whim.
Right.
So, and that apparently is where the writers went, but
I guess. I don't know. But I just like, it was comical to me because he's like military, right? So, and he's in shape, but yet he's like so winded so easily, and he can't get away from these moderately moving zombies. And I'm like, bro, you're military.
Well, he keeps looking at them all the time instead of just booking.
Yeah, and he stops every time, like clear, dead stop. It was so confusing. And then he ends up back in the lake, and then this is after he saw the 3 huge...
Right, that was a Fulci scene.
Like, huge, you guys. Like, they look like these monster humans, and it's actually really fucking cool. Coming out of this random cave that you never saw prior to that, mind you. And then they are so far away, and then all of a sudden he's in the water, and they're right behind him.
Okay.
And I was actually kind of like, ugh. It was like a tense scene for me.
That scene is actually directed by Fulci.
It's really cool.
Right.
Like, I actually, like, even though I was basically talking about how this whole scene was really stupid, but that it ends up leading to this moment.
Which is cool.
Which is really cool.
Right.
And I actually, the only time in this movie I got tense was in that scene, because I was like, ew.
Yeah.
And those zombies are...
puffed up.
They're fucking cool. Like,
yeah.
they're
puffer
cool.
zombies.
The makeup is cool looking, and they move in an interesting way, and they are very believable.
I gotta mention one other scene. I think it's the girl that was with the guy that gets bit by the birds, and they go to a gas station, and there's that really cool looking zombie in there.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite zombies in the whole film, because he's got like this melty face, but it looks really cool. Yeah. And the whole scene is like this action scene where he's trying to cut her with a machete, and he's like swinging it at her, and she's like fucking ducking and fucking doing some fucking karate fucking moves. Karate! She's not hitting him or anything, but he's like chopping at her and always missing and stuff. And this is a really cool scene.
That is a cool scene.
And then the fucking zombie blows up in the fucking gas station. I thought that was one of the best scenes in the whole fucking film. And I come to find out, apparently that was Fulci's brilliance.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
This is the same girl who supposedly fucks her leg up later on in the movie, but then continuously forgets about it.
Right. And I'm
afterwards.
like, has she been bit? Like, what's going on?
Because she jumped out of the car.
Right.
So then you think she either broke her ankle, sprained her ankle, or really like hurt her leg because she's limpy, and then she has to get carried and whatever, right? And then fast forward about 20 minutes later, she's like running. Normally through the forest or whatever, like she keeps like, and then she'll be limping again, and then it's like she just keeps forgetting that she's supposed to be pretending she has an injured leg, and she like jumps down off of stuff, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? But I do love the scene where they pick up the guy, the guy I was talking about that was in the water with the floaty bloaty zombies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They pick him up.
I think that's Octaviano.
What? Yeah, they pick him up off the side of the road. This is like shortly before the dude she's with turns, and they're just driving, and then he's like, "I want your blood!" Like all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere.
That's
and just,
the one.
Like, that's the scene, and it tries to attack her. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And like that whole back and forth was so stupid.
I'm not trying to like discredit them, but I totally think they ripped that from fucking Return of the Living Dead.
It was rough.
Because in Return of the Living Dead, he's like, I can smell you, and why won't you let me eat your brains? Like that.
Yeah, he was like, I want your blood. It was just so weird.
It's like they wanted to make a similar scene where it was like that.
Yeah, like,
where
I
the
don't
love,
know.
like the love between them was really shaken.
Yeah.
But like, I think Return of the Living Dead did it better.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it was a weird moment.
One last one I want to mention real quick is the refrigerator zombie head flying scene. Do you remember that?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, where
Again.
it's just insanely ridiculous, but he opens up a fridge in this kitchen because they're looking for food. And of course, they walk away from the pack in the middle of this fucking crisis, and you know something's going to fucking happen.
Yeah, part 2 where this happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So he opens the fridge and the head's just like flies out of the thing, bites the dude on the neck repeatedly, and the girl gets attacked by these weird finger zombies.
Yeah.
But
I like both of that. Like that whole scene was cool.
Apparently Fulci said that this scene in particular, he said it was the most clever thing he ever came up with and that he was truly proud of. I was like, what?
That's cute.
It's cute. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to.
It's so stupid.
I don't want to.
The part with the chick I thought was cool. Like that moment was interesting, but the
head was so
flying
schlocky.
It was so cheeseball. Yeah. But I loved it.
I mean, I think it's funny. It's
I did
memorable.
love it. But yeah, oh my God, so good.
Wow.
So stupid.
We did watch part 4, guys, and we're going to try to get through these as quick as we can, but, there is so much information on some of these. Like I said, this is the encyclopedia of Zombie 3 and 4.
So the next movie we did, guys, was Zombie 4 After Death, which was released supposedly-ish in 1989. That's what we're going to go with. General breakdown is a woman goes back to the island where her parents were killed. They'd been working on, supposedly, some type of cure for cancer and accidentally ended up raising the dead and angering a voodoo priest. With the woman is a group of mercenaries, and they meet up with some other researchers, and eventually they raise the dead again, and all hell breaks loose. So as you can tell, this is a little bit of a weirdly convoluted story that doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense. But it's a zombie movie. So it was directed by Claudio Fragasso, as Clyde Anderson.
You don't need to go through all the movies. We've already done it.
I was going to say, we've already gone through all these, so I'm not going to go through that again. It was written by Rosella Drudy, which is Claudio Fragasso's wife, who wrote the screenplay. She has also done screenplays for Cop Games, Strike Commando 2, Zombie 3, Double Target, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, they're a team, so.
Yeah, they basically work on everything together. I'm not going to go over everybody who stars in this movie, because it's, what?
Also, the Al Festa did the music, and he's also known as Al Cafone.
Yeah.
Cafone.
And
this special effects guy on this was, again, Franco Di Girolamo.
Yep.
So, the team, as we've been mentioning for the production.
Yeah, everybody comes all back together.
Right, yeah.
The team's back together again. Got the band back together.
Getting the band back together, man. Let's make Zombie 4, bro.
Bro. I picked a handful of people from the movie. I'm not going to go down the whole list because there are a lot of them, again. So I have Jeff Stryker, who plays Chuck, who is from The Good Time Girls, Dirty Love, Heartless, and a bunch of other movies.
Okay.
Candace Daly, who plays Jenny, who was in Hell Hunters, Cop Game, Liquid Dreams, and she was in several episodes, if not seasons, of The Young and the Restless, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Massimo Vanni, who plays David, who's in Violent City, The Last Hunter, Warriors of the Wasteland, Shocking Dark, etc.
Zombie 3.
Etc., etc. I was like, we talked about him earlier, too.
Yeah.
It also has Jim Gaines, who plays Dan, who has done Black Fire, Blood Hands, Robo Warriors. Don Wilson, who plays Tommy, who is actually a pretty well-known actor.
I think it's Robo War.
Is it Robo War? Why did I put Warriors?
I don't know.
You know what? I probably got auto-corrected.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
So, Robo Wars. Also has Don Wilson, who is actually a pretty well-known actor who plays Tommy. He was in all the series movies for Blood Fist. He was also in Batman Forever and Inferno.
Nice.
You'll notice if you look him up, you'll be like, holy shit, it's that guy. It was that moment for me. Anyway, last but not least, I put James Sampson, who played the voodoo priest. He's in Zombie, City of the Living Dead, Shocking Dark, Dark Bar, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, that was the guy from City of the Living Dead?
Yes.
You're a comic book version of a cop.
See.
So, it's in that book you call Enoch? It's just like, what's it called? Enoch. I'd find such fascinating things as this very appealing to someone as your job as a sleuth. And then the fire come right up out of the floor. It's City of the Living Dead. Sorry, I love it. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd.
Alex nerd out moment.
It's that guy, though. I had no idea.
That's why I was like, I've got to mention this. Like, even though he's only in it for like a split second, he's not in it for a really long part, but he's in it right off the bat. And he still has a cool role, I thought. And he was
Where's the stash? Flush down the toilet? That's fucking... oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm a nerd.
And then couldn't find who plays the fucking zombie priest's wife, and it bums me out because she is my favorite character in the entire movie.
Okay.
So she has some of the most memorable moments for me, but...
Well, there's an interesting story on that, too. You know that, right?
What?
That beginning of the whole movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it in the trivia.
You tell me.
Well, because I watched the special features and stuff, so
yeah,
I might know a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't. So
yeah, you don't have it.
Exactly.
So
I was like, Alex probably knows them. And you're like, there's so much stuff. And I was like, is there, though? I'm like, I have some things. So what did you think?
Well... Let me even preface this because she kind of tells you what the story is, but the very beginning, what she was talking about with the voodoo priestess and the witch doctor, there's a witch doctor that uses voodoo to open the quote unquote third door to hell because some shitty scientist apparently accidentally killed his daughter or couldn't help her in some way.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do kind of explain that.
Yeah, so he opens the door by sacrificing his wife to the hell demons. Right? Okay, which makes no sense. Which, of course, unleashes an all too familiar plague yet again on the living on an island. And this one probably, I would say, stays a little bit more true to the first zombie movie story, just because of the voodoo element, and it's on an island. And of course, scientists are trying to beat death. And they're studying all this crap. So, of course, the dead come back to an island. But this one seems a little bit different than the others. They seem a little bit more demonic, like the zombies.
They're like a cult.
It's really weird.
It is weird.
It's very unique though because of that. I'm not saying it's better, but they have claws sometimes, black-handed claws, who bleed black or green shit from their mouths all the time and have weird dead-like abrasions all over their face. Like half their faces are covered in this weird prosthetic stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly prosthetic because of the 1080p, but if you were to watch this in DVD or VHS quality, where what they had,
it's
pretty much.
Kind of muddy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of muddy. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool what they did because it's not your typical zombies, but some of the typical, more regular ones were wearing these black wet cloths, like garb over them. I think it was done on the cheap because it covered anything that they would have to do prosthetic stuff on.
Right.
So they used this as like a technique, and they didn't mention that, but it just seems like...
That's what I thought.
Right. Then obviously we fast forward 20 years where the little girl who escaped because her family got murdered on this island and she runs off. I don't even know how she gets back to the boat. It's really weird. Anyway, so she escaped the whole ordeal. She returns 20 years later to the island because she's chilling with some band of soldiers of fortune, like these
mercenaries, right?
Merry band of soldiers of fortune.
They're all ridiculous. And then there's like one sort of hot dude. And then the others are just like...
Really? Which one?
What's his name? The main one, Stryker or whatever.
Oh, it's funny.
I know. I have something about that. Yeah.
They are, they're ready to take on the demonic island voodoo dead zombie thingies. So that was pretty cool, I guess. But anyways, the story, I think, is much better than I think I gave it credit before. I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times at least before this. So watching it again, it had been a long time. And I think because I didn't really remember a lot of it. So this time I think I was much more focused. Specifically because, we have to review these things, so I'm probably a little bit more laser focused. But I think, at the very least, this story is a bit easier to tolerate than Zombie 3, in my opinion.
Which is weird because I feel like there's a lot of elements.
Well, it's more, it just seems like it flows better.
It does flow better, yeah.
I don't know, and
for
it's
being
probably...
as crazy as it is.
Well, and probably because they had so many people, like too many cooks in the kitchen on the third one, and they were like changing things all the time, so they didn't really have time to pace it out and everything. But this one, I don't know, it just felt like it kind of flowed. It definitely takes more risks to do some original shit, in my opinion, for the zombie genre, whether you like it or not, whether it's a good movie to you or not. I personally think it does kind of pay off in the end, and it's kind of unique, and I will watch it again. And I don't know. I was surprised because I always remember liking 3 and the birds one for some odd reason, even though it's like completely different than the rest.
I kind of want to see the bird one.
I know. I have it here, but
it looks crazy.
I don't know. Just felt more unique to me. Maybe a more interesting cast. Like the characters were more unique and stood out a little bit more. They had more personalities, in my opinion. Whereas, like, I couldn't even think about like the different characters in the third one.
Right.
Like it was just like 3 military guys, this other guy. You know, it didn't really make sense to me. So, if I had to pick between the two, by the way, which we're going to do after this, it's going to be really hard for me because I still don't know.
Yeah.
So because there's different
I like
things
both for different reasons.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's how I feel about it too.
Right.
It's really hard to choose.
And a lot of people really didn't like 3 when it came out. So, and I don't think many people like this one too much either. So.
I like the fact that all these zombies are like kung fu masters.
Yeah, this one's a little more gory too.
It is. Yeah, especially in the beginning. It's fucking cool.
Right. There's some pretty cool stuff in it.
There's like, I'm like, when did they, what? They're all like these kung fu fighting zombies. The shit is going on. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Everybody's
fast as lightning. Copyright strike, copyright strike, copyright.
Eating brains. Anyway, but yeah, fucking hilarious. I was like, why is this happening?
There's some pretty ridiculous stuff in it, but I admire it that it actually took some risks and tried to do something a little bit more unique, even though it kind of reminds me of like the Blind Dead collection of movies that were like on ships and they had like these garbs because they're like ancient fucking, you know, things. And I don't know, there's something about it that I don't like it in this movie. I wanted to see full on zombies, but I respect it for trying to do something a little different. So, and it kind of, to be honest, like the zombies just made me feel like I was watching a demons movie more than I was a zombie movie, which
they don't look like zombies.
Which I don't think is a bad thing. Like I actually really like it.
Yeah, to me it felt very cult-like. I don't know, they were like these weird cult witch type creatures that had melty faces and ate people. I don't know. Like They're still very human characteristics to them, and they were smart in, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they talked.
Yeah, they talk, and they're still. That's why they don't. It didn't feel zombie-esque to me the entire time.
They just seemed like more like infected demons or something.
Yeah, demons are fucking crazy cult members.
Right.
I don't know. It was strange, and they all had the same clothes on, and they stopped when the candles were lit around the key to. Yeah,
they had like a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? But it was still interesting. It was interesting enough for me. I don't know. I liked the story, even though it was really messy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Well,
it did flow better.
I really feel like it flowed better than the third one.
But I still feel like this story has a lot of moving parts to it that don't all...
it's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's got a lot of moving parts in this one. Yeah,
it's a lot to it. It's the same with the third one. There's a lot of elements to it, but that one, they have a lot of side stories, but it still stays to the same concept, just a bunch of different characters.
For example... They weren't really clear that it was 20 years later in the beginning of the movie when all this shit happens. It just fucking jumps to 20 years later and you're left going, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So if like you weren't listening to this one sentence, you would have missed out the whole fucking thing. So it took me more than half the movie to figure out what the fuck had just happened.
Yeah.
And that they were just looking at this like weird thing in the beginning. But there's also a reason why it's a little shambled. And we'll probably get into that right now for the trivia.
Yeah, I just had some little fun things for trivia, and it sounds like you have some more interesting stuff.
Okay.
Especially because you had access to all the extra stuff. So we were talking about the kind of hot guy, right? Jeff Stryker, the actor that played Chuck.
Right.
He is one of the big stars who's actually better known for his roles in both straight and gay porn.
Right. His name in the movie was actually Chuck Payton.
Chuck Payton.
Yeah, that was his name, but then they, in IMDb, it's Jeff Stryker. Mm-hmm. So.
This was his first non-pornography movie.
Yes.
So that's cool, buddy. I'm glad this was your first choice to not do porn. He should have boned someone on screen, because that would have been cool.
Actually, did you know
just
what?
Boned a zombie. That would have been dope.
Do you know what kind of porno star he was?
I said straight and gay.
No, he was mostly gay.
Yeah, well,
he was popular,
mostly
like
gay, but yeah,
gigantic in Germany. Like he's
sweet.
They have a fucking action figure of him.
Are you
A
serious?
12-inch action figure that
Does
was
it have
made.
a 12-inch dick too?
I never seen it. Dude, the interview with him was so fucking cool, dude. Like, he is the nicest fucking guy.
I want to see.
Like,
that.
his laugh is so infectious, and like Christina are like, oh man, I
He's
really
like personable
him.
as shit. Oh, that's
Huh?
awesome. He's like really personable.
Right, yeah.
That's fucking cool. I like that. I liked him a lot. Like, he was my favorite of the group of friends character.
Well,
I guess.
and
I
it's
don't know.
funny too because he was such a big porn star, like gay porn star, that it kind of ruined his chances in the movie making industry. He was saying that, like, you know, someone like Sylvester Stallone, where he was in porn for a little bit, didn't really get his big, you know, star in the porn industry, and he became a huge success. Well, he had already moved up in the tiers of porn and became a huge star.
Yeah, when you cut a porn action figure, like,
Right. And so he was saying that because of that, I think his aspirations to be in the movie industry more than the porn industry kind of got ruined. But he did say that even though his chances is because of being in porn, it ruined his chances with being in the film industry, he's still breathing. So it's not over yet. And I just like that.
That's
I
cute.
thought that was fucking great. I fucking love the guy.
your aspirations are not over. Sir.
His laugh, I got to show you this after we're done just so you can see it.
I want to hear it. We were talking a little bit about the music for this. So the singer of the main fucking ridiculously glorious 80s theme song that is running throughout this movie.
Yeah.
Maurizio Sarantola later joined an Italian Led Zeppelin tribute band called Custard Pie. He was the lead singer from 93 until 1997. And then later in 2006, he started singing in an Italian Whitesnake tribute band called Coverdale. 2 years later, the band ended up splitting up, and nowadays he's singing in his new band, Snake's Shadow, which is another Italian tribute rock band to Whitesnake.
I used to listen to Whitesnake when I was
I
younger.
like Whitesnake.
Well, my buddy was a drummer and he loved them.
Yeah, I like Whitesnake, so I was like, oh, that's cute. So the majority, we talked about this a little bit too, the majority of the cast for this was English-speaking performers, but their voices were dubbed in post-production.
Actually, and they did a good job this time.
They did, but you could tell, like, they're speaking English.
Right.
Like, I was like, why are they dubbing this?
They did a really good job.
But they did. It's not terrible at all. I was actually
It was
really
a
shocked.
complete change from the third one.
Yeah.
I was like,
Night and
holy
day.
shit, this is like, you know, the kung fu action movies where you see that like not matching at all.
I know, but I love that. I love badly dubbed movies. It gives it character. Last but not least, I have that After Death and Strike Commando 2 were actually shot back to back at the same time due to both the films having to require the same camera for two separate productions.
Right, because they didn't have all the equipment that they needed.
Fucking pure hell is that? And this was filmed in the Philippines too, I believe, right? Some of the scenes
Yes.
in the beginning were filmed in like Rome or something, but then the majority of this was also
The
in the
first 10
Philippines.
minutes is shot in Rome in a
Yeah.
studio, the same studio that apparently the church was made in with the same set,
Interesting.
actually.
Makes sense.
And they even shot in the same area that they shot Zombie 3 in the Philippines with the same kind of crew and people that did it. Because if you guys didn't know this, Zombie 3 is the first zombie movie ever made in the Philippines, period.
Really?
Yes. But Zombie 4, they went back because of the people they worked with. For one, it was cheap. And two, because, you know, they're making movies with like lower budgets than most anybody.
Right.
It's probably bigger for some, but
We kind of established, like, you know.
yeah, it was Cut
relationships
Corner
essentially,
City.
too.
Like
Yeah.
that's what this fucking production was
Yeah.
all about.
Go
But
back
yeah,
where you're familiar.
but yeah, you're right. Actually, and Bruno Mattei was, like you said, was working on Strike Commando 2. Fragasso was kind of talking about that. He said that during the day he would film Strike Commando, and then at night he would film the fucking Zombie 4 or After Death is what they called it. Before they changed it, but they wanted to market it as a zombie film afterwards because it would help. And apparently the Zombie 4 movie got more attention, I think, than Zombie 3 because of that.
It makes sense.
I don't know why, but yeah. So, but yeah, they were like going back and forth. And he said there was a scene, or he was talking about a time where Bruno and him were in a helicopter with a one-eyed helicopter pilot who had a patch over his eye.
No.
And he was like, this is bad luck. Like,
Yeah.
this is bad luck,
you have
guys.
no depth perception. How are you driving flying a helicopter driving? How are you flying a fucking helicopter?
They wanted to do an Apocalypse Now, like 13 helicopter scene. And so when they were filming that during this time, when they were filming After Death as well for Strike Commando, they were up in the air and a typhoon happened.
Ugh.
And it threw the fucking helicopter out of whack and they almost crashed. And he said that while they were spinning around, he was like, why do I have to die with you here, Bruno Fragasso? Well, they're really good buddies, but I just thought that was really funny. So what else did you have?
This is how I die.
I know, right? I thought that was funny, but they obviously saved it. But apparently the whole place, because of the typhoon, the whole city, the whole thing that they built
Underwater
for $100,000, gone. So they had to pay $5,000 to a regular city, another city, because guys, I mentioned this before, their Philippines has floods, like these mass floods every fucking like couple of months, and it just wipes everything out. So they just rebuild their houses in these smaller places. So they paid them the whole town $5,000 to do this, to reshoot the 13 helicopter scene.
Fuck.
And he said that when they were like shooting at people, that the people in the fucking movie were smiling and shit because they were getting paid so much money because they were like, we were going to redo this anyway.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for the 5Gs, which I have no idea how much that actually translates to in Philippine money.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. I've never been
Probably
to the Philippines.
a lot of fucking money.
This was probably out of the two, the interview with Fragasso and Rosella Rudy. This particular interview about this movie was my favorite of the two. I loved it. Out of all of them in there, this was I don't know, it's like, it was almost like Fragasso was like a different person in this one versus the other one. Like, he was very careful about what he said in Zombie 3, but when it came to Zombie 4, they just kind of unleashed the fury.
Yeah, I think it was just to be respectful.
Probably. There is a lot of respect for Fulci, and I don't blame them one bit. Just to have worked on anything with the man is amazing.
Right.
We've been talking about the whole intro scene where the witch and his wife, who goes into hell and dies and all this other shit, that was added after the movie was shot because the movie was 10 minutes short of being a feature.
Huh.
So Claudio Fragasso hired the people at the studio to do the one with the church and everything, to do that, and they shot everything there. So
that's interesting because it feels like it's an afterthought.
Well, he even said he hates the 10 minutes in the beginning. I thought it was good, but
I liked it.
Yeah,
like
I did too.
Some of the best parts are when she's fucking eating people.
I thought so too. Yeah,
so cool.
I thought, well, just the fact that she's changing, it kind of reminded me of a Demons movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I got excited. I was like, oh, fuck,
cool.
This might be good. I haven't seen this in a while. Why did I forget this?
Yeah, it was really fucking interesting. Like that, she's my favorite character in this entire movie.
Right.
And I don't know who the fuck she is. All of the makeup and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know. You probably have more before I jump into scenes, but...
Oh, yeah. No, I got to tell this one story that Fragasso told. It was so fucking... I was literally laughing by myself out loud, just cracking up at this story, guys. You're going to love this. So Fragasso talks about how the Philippines and, how a lot of like film crews have been there, and a lot of the film crews have not been as exactly respectful of the Philippines and the people who work there and shit like that, even though he says like they're really great hard workers and they really care about this fucking shit. So he's telling the story about where he was visiting because he stayed in a hotel for the majority of the time. In this hotel, all the like higher up people working on the films, probably the actors and stuff like that, while all the Filipino people had these like barracks where they just like were in these, boxes with bunk beds and shit like that they stayed in. Well, apparently Fragasso ended up going out to visit them, and they were so ecstatic that they literally made a huge feast for him because this was like a huge honor. He'd been the first director to ever give them any honor whatsoever, and they wanted to do it up. So they brought this gigantic fish. He said it was so big that he didn't know how they fried the fish. Like,
it's fucking crazy.
Like he said he said it didn't taste like anything. It was awful, but he said that he, acted like it was good because he didn't want to be impolite or anything like that. And then he said that the people from the Apocalypse Now movie, where they made the movie there before, were really treating them like utter shit. So to have him sit down with them was like this huge fucking deal. So they celebrated with him, and he said that eventually he was looking at them. They were drinking and having beer, and they were drinking this coconut rum, I guess. And he said all of a sudden he started looking at them, and he started seeing Filipino people with long noses and long ears and distorted faces. And he was like, what's going on? And one of the people in the party told him that they had given him a strong hallucinatory drug that would make him hallucinate, and it was this coconut rum that he was drinking. He said it was stronger. He's like, I've done some shit in my day, you know. I've done some fucking fucked up shit in my day, but this was the strongest thing I've ever experienced. He said that one of the only things he remembers from that hallucination and that whole experience before he like went off is them carrying him like he was Jesus Christ through the streets all the way to his hotel. And he said they carried him all the way to his bed. And then he was just like, he said he had a horrible night the rest of the night.
I'm sure.
Because he didn't realize what the fuck had happened.
Oh,
but
it's fucking awesome though.
Yeah, but
I want to be carried through the streets like Jesus.
So he's like,
just not nailed to a cross.
Right?
Preferably.
I was laughing though, because I'm like, I can imagine all these people like carrying him on their hands, like up on, you know, like. Needless to say, he says, don't drink the coconut rum.
That's a good idea. Well, I don't take anything that someone just hands me, period.
Right.
I think that's just because I'm a lady. And that's just sad, but it's a general rule you need to live by as a woman.
Right, yeah.
Don't take something that's not sealed from someone you don't know.
You know, he's eating shit he doesn't like. He's drinking shit he probably doesn't care for.
Yeah,
but
there's a line you have to be careful not to cross when you try to be respectful in another country.
I just thought that was a really genuinely cool story.
That is really
It made me look at Fragasso a little bit differently. Apparently, those Filipinos that they paid, all the different locals there, they paid them between $1 and $3 a piece. So the people who got the $3 were the people who took the most risks and put themselves into extremely dangerous positions.
They're the Kung Fu fighters?
No, they were like, just like anything that would involve like risking their lives. These guys would get paid $3 over. Like
a day or?
I guess.
An hour or the entire
I guess a day.
Time? Fuck that. Well,
right.
I guess, who knows? Maybe that's like $200 in Filipino money. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, clearly it's cheaper than what they would have paid somebody else to do.
Yeah, I'd be like, $3. Fuck you.
They said
$3.
that the stuntmen didn't want to jump into this one lake thing. They got pretty upset about one part because they were like, fuck that. I'm not jumping in there. Because if they miss.
That's probably where they got that giant fucking fish that they ate that could have eaten all of them.
Yeah, that was a Loch Ness Monster in it.
Yeah,
in Philippines.
fuck. It existed at one point. Claudio Fragasso ate it and said it wasn't good.
He said that they were really passionate people though, and that you know they really worked hard to do this. So he has a lot of respect for them, and that's why a lot of Bruno and him, all of his movies are shot in the Philippines. If you see Island of the Dead or Zombies: The Beginning, they're all in the Philippines. So. Well, probably because of price mostly, but they've got a working relationship with them, so they do.
Well, yeah, and they respect them, so then they respect them back.
Which, by the way, guys, if you'd like us to see and review Island of the Dead and Zombies: The Beginning, let us know, because I bought them at the convention, and I think we should watch them. You know the main star, Candace Daly, the blonde, that was in the movie.
Cute, she's so pretty.
She was murdered.
Oh, that's how I saw that she died.
She was murdered in December of 2004.
Yeah, I saw that she died, and she was only in like her mid-30s or something. She was really young, and so I was like, I meant to look into what happened to her, but I completely spaced it.
Well, they included an interview with her that was probably right before that happened. Obviously,
was it like a boyfriend or something?
Probably, obviously before it happened. Anyway, she had a really decent interview. She kind of just talked about working there and how the conditions were a little bit rough and how hot it was. Nothing real significant, but it was interesting to see nonetheless. So
how did she? Like, so she was murdered. Was it like a boyfriend?
They didn't say. I tried to look it up too.
Couldn't find anything. That's crazy.
They didn't have any reports on it. The only reason that I even know that is because in the Jeff Stryker interview, he talks about it. He was like, I tried to find her and call her, and then someone was like, well, she's been murdered, right? He said he didn't know how, he didn't know why, but that she was cut from her, from life really suddenly.
Yeah, she was in her mid-30s. Like, she was super young.
Yeah, like, it's kind of fucked.
I was like, something.
And she was a really good actor in this.
Shit. Yeah, she was really good, and she's so fucking gorgeous. So that's why I was surprised to see that she hadn't really gone on to continue doing a lot of things. And then I was like, oh, because she's fucking dead. But let's move on to some of the scenes that we really liked from this movie.
All right.
I'm going to start it off with you because I went first last time.
Okay. We already kind of mentioned the Witchdoctor scene where she goes in the hole and turns out. So that's like one of our favorites, right?
That's my favorite.
Okay. Did you want to talk about it, or because we kind of brought it up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to, I want people to watch it to actually see it. Cause
I think it's better than they give it credit.
It is. It's so fucking cool. She totally takes off this dude's face, rips it off, and I don't know.
She sinks into the ground and rips the guy's eyeball out.
Yeah, it's so dope, you guys. I was so stoked watching the entire time. I'm like, this is cool as fuck.
She threw one of the dudes in a literal hellhole.
Yeah,
literal.
And he's like, ah!
He just fell in.
He just all slides in the fucking hole. I'm like, okay. I don't even know if he said anything. I just think he just slid down face first.
Yeah, he tried to stop himself. That was about it.
He stops and his little legs are out. And then
his legs. His little legs.
Little legs. Oh my god, it was funny. But yeah, those gore scenes are legit as fuck.
That was cool. A good, yeah. That's when I knew. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a little bit more gory. I like that.
There was one exploding head moment that came way later in the movie, right. And I was like, whoop! There's their one budget for an exploding head.
One of the one scene that stood out to me is when they go into that cave 20 years into the future. Because so we got the mercenaries with these two girls, or two or three.
Two.
I think, yeah, there might be two or three.
There's 3
I don't
dudes,
remember.
3 dudes, 2 girls.
Okay, so
there's Mustache.
Is that like a porno?
Yeah, Mustache, hillbilly, good-looking dude. There might have been another guy, but I know there was at least 3 dudes, and then there's 2 chicks. The hot blonde girl that died, and then
wait, hold on a second.
One's girlfriend.
There is 1, 2. Yeah, there's 3 dudes, 2 chicks.
3 dudes, 2 chicks.
Because I get mixed up because there's this alternate group of these researchers who are looking back to see what happened 20 years ago, which happens to be the girl who got away, happens to be just in that area because, mercenaries do what mercenaries do. They pick up hot chicks and check out abandoned islands for some reason. They start hearing all these monsters and everything, and she's like, I had a dream about zombies in the fucking thing, and all of a sudden all of her dreams come true pretty much.
Basically. Fortune teller.
But this secondary group of researchers, there's these 2 guys and this one girl who go into this cave. I forget what they call it. I almost thought they said Dumbledore.
It sounded like it.
It sounded like it, or weird. Gryffindor.
Yeah, something Harry Potter.
Yeah, it sounded like, I kept listening to it over and over. I was like, I can't hear what she's saying.
No.
Anyway, so they go in there and they find this book of the dead. And not just a book that is a book of the dead in some sort of unknown language, but a book with the words Book of the Dead on it. Sounds legit.
Yeah.
Just that shit made me crack up.
Yeah,
and it's
funny.
Written kind of ridiculous. It would look like a coffee table book that you would you know what I mean, from the 80s. And it's, I don't know, I just thought it was ridiculous.
It's like a handbook for the recently deceased.
Yeah, it's like, hey, go on down to your Walden Books or your fucking whatever.
Borders.
It looks like a fucking comical book that you would buy at a fucking store. Yeah, like a joke book.
You get it from Spirit Halloween, Halloween time. That's where you get it.
That scene stands out to me. What about you?
Yeah. Mustache guy
with the band, the headband.
Yeah. The 80s looking porn dude.
I think it's like the 60s love child band.
Yeah, and then there's I don't know, his name's Rod or something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The one that his girlfriend bites him out in the outside.
Ron's the guy that should be wearing a shirt, isn't wearing
the
one.
Hillbilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one dude that should wear a shirt.
He's got meth mouth.
Yes, he is terrible. I'm just ew.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. But...
So he dies outside because his girlfriend bites him. They see the other dude with the headband.
Gets bit.
Sees him. Yeah, he ends up getting bit. And he's like, don't let me turn into one of these things or whatever. Make sure you kill me before the change happens or something like that. Well, they fucking don't.
Of course.
Like, I'm like, you guys really shoot him in the fucking head. Like, they know he's going to die. They know he's going to change. And they just leave him there and cover him up with a sheet and then move on with their lives.
With an M16 on his chest.
And he still has the gun. I didn't even realize he still had the gun. Right. So I'm like, we're waiting, and I'm like, that guy's going to come back to life. And I'm just waiting for him to come up and like bite someone or something, and then just be like, you should have killed me or like something. Because they all talk. So I was waiting for some stupid comment or whatever. And then cue this dude coming back from the dead, and he just like sits up and rips the sheet off of him, and he's got like a fucking AK-47, and he's just
it's a M16, yeah.
Whatever, I don't know guns. It's a big gun that shoots more than one round at a time, basically. And he's just like, what the who does that? Like, are you serious?
Well, yeah, he comes back as a zombie
that
shoots guns.
People.
Yeah. And he looks completely cognizant, like he's like ready to attack, like he was going to shoot that person.
Right. And I'm like, you guys already saw that your friend that left you with the gun knows how to shoot said gun.
Why did you leave it with him?
Why did you leave the other dead guy? Why didn't you just kill him when he asked you to kill him, for one? Why do you leave him with the... Really?
Right.
And then the poor black guy gets shot in like every orifice of his body.
Right, dude, and he lives for the longest time.
I know, I'm like, you just fucking die.
Hey, he didn't die first, so that's a good thing, right?
That is a good thing. I was like, please don't kill him first. Like, come on.
Well, it's an Italian film, so,
They're more respectful than Americans, apparently.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought that was hilarious. And then that guy gets shot like in both knees, in the stomach, in the side, in the middle of his back, like right on his spine, in his chest somewhere. He gets shot like 7 times.
At least.
Continues to like crawl throughout the house and like still be a hero, which is really cool. But
how does
not
he
believable.
become a hero? What does he do? Tell him. Oh, he grabs a grenade, guys,
yes.
out of the bin of like all these grenades, this box of grenades.
And
it's so funny too because he's like his buddy, the fucking guy that should be wearing a shirt with the long hair, the meth mouthy dude, Rod or Ron?
I think it's Rod.
Yeah, I think it is Rod. I don't know. Did you?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
I skipped him, but I'm pretty sure it's Rod.
Okay,
he's in a bunch of military movies.
So Rod walks up to him and says, we're together. We're back together, or some shit like that. And then the other guy who's got the grenade says, we're together again forever. And he holds up the grenade after he pulls it out and slams his hand down, and the whole house explodes.
Almost like, nice.
That was pretty cool, though.
So he was cool. I don't know.
There was a scene before that, though, that really made me laugh because, like, the guy with the long hair, Rod, meth mouthy,
yeah,
he's like staring out into the dark because he's so badass. And this girl comes up to him and she's just like, how can you just be out here in the dark? And he's like, well, when you've been, under the gun of Charlie, you just understand these things and nothing really scares you. He said, but what I learned while being a man in war, and I didn't know if I was going to die one day to the next. The only thing I wanted was a woman by my side. And I want you. And she's like, no. She's like, no, not right now.
I'm good. I'm good. It's that meth mouth. Mouth.
He could he flosses with rope. But fucking dude, that shit made me fucking blow up. And then they find out that their friend died from this bite. And he gets really pissed off.
It's his girlfriend, I think.
Oh,
Right?
no, it's somebody else dies. And he's like, well, if he's dying, I'm going out. If this is how we're all going to die, this slow death, he's like, I'm going to kill a few before I do. And he's like, hey, yoo-hoo, yoo! And he runs out and fucking...
It's so great.
It's so funny, dude.
It's so glorious. Like, I was kind of sad when he was like gone because I'm like, damn, he was funny. Like every scene with that dude in it is so stupid.
He was actually a really good actor. That's why I say these characters.
None of them are bad.
The black guy, and I can't think of his name. What is his? I don't know
which character. What?
Yeah, because some of these guys, some of these pictures, you don't even know who it is.
Yeah, there wasn't a picture.
And it's hard to be honest. Like it's really hard. There were so many characters, so many names that you really just don't even know.
Yeah, I'm sure he's one of them that I said, but I don't.
You know what I think it is? It's because they don't actually say their names enough in the movie for you to really know.
They don't.
Except when they're dying.
Yes. So yeah, seriously. They only said the chick's name Jenny or whatever once. I only remember Jenny. I only remember hearing her name one time, and the only reason it resonated with me is my best friend's name. So I was just like, Jenny.
Like usually when I'm writing down these scenes, like I'll be like, God, what's his name? Like, oh fuck, I didn't catch it, or maybe I didn't. So I don't know. Anyway, do you have another scene?
I don't think so.
Really? Okay. I mean, there is probably more memorable scenes in the third one, I think, than this one. But these are a little bit more unique as well.
Yeah.
Besides the flying zombie head thing, which is
so good.
Pretty unique.
So stupid, but so glorious.
One of the last ones I think of, and this is kind of spoiler territory, guys, so if you haven't seen this film and you don't want to ruin the ending, which is kind of
Yeah, at best.
It is kind of cool. Like, I kind of wish it would have gone further and, like, all this shit goes on leash. Basically, the only people that are left are the blonde-haired girl and Jeff Stryker, who is...
gay porn guy.
Yeah, they're, like, two different crews. Like, she was the girl that left the island when she was just, like, 5 years old. And she's 20 years later, so she's, like, 25 years old. And then she was with the fucking mercenaries. And then the guy who was part of the researchers, the three people in that all died except for him. So it's just her and him. They go into this cave where the Book of the Dead is. And she's like, for whatever reason, she knows all this like voodoo lore.
Yeah.
And so she's like, reads in the book that she has to sacrifice herself, or somebody has to sacrifice themselves. And so she takes off her pendant, because in the movie, they have this like row of candles, like the circle of safety or whatever. And if you put this medallion in the middle of it, it prevents the zombies from attacking her, or demon zombies, whatever. She throws the medallion into the hellhole, this weird like cave hole, and it like all of a sudden explodes, and then she starts like turning into a zombie. So I guess that's her sacrificing herself, but no more zombies will come through. But the ones that exist stay, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stryker gets fucking punched through the stomach from the back.
Oh, fuck!
So
so
there's like the fist coming through his back, and like you see the hand kind of stretching the skin and everything.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it looked kind of cool. And half of her face starts melting off, and she like pulls her eye off, and then she kind of looks like the chick. Like a chick from one of the City of the Living Dead movies where their face is all
cool.
bloody.
I thought she looked so cool. I was like, I want that in like a t-shirt.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The eye looked a little weird.
Yeah. But like the little cutaway part they did a little bit after that, like she looks so fucking cool. It's like I totally would get a tattoo of that, or like a t-shirt or something. Like I thought she looked badass.
And it's kind of a dreary ending because nobody survives.
Yeah,
like literally
dead.
Everyone that's gone to that island, including her parents, all died. So she just gets turned into a zombie anyway. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, then the hell portals maybe closed. We don't really know.
Right. And I feel like these Bruno Mattei movies that I was talking about, The Island of the Dead and the other one, like I feel like they might be kind of related somehow. So I'm kind of curious to see what they did with that. So yeah. I don't know. So what did you think of these two? Like, after all said and done, all the stuff that we found out about it, like, what do you think? Which one did you pick?
I don't know.
Really?
I really don't know. Like,
you said you liked the third one better.
Both for two different reasons, though. Like, I like both for many different reasons, I should say.
It is tough. I'm not going to lie.
There's different things that
I thought you had a definitive answer.
Mm-mm.
Okay, this is how I'm going to break it down. The third one has more memorable scenes, although the story isn't as good as the second one, even though the second one is the fourth movie has a kind of better story. It flows better. It takes more chances. It's more unique. But I hated the zombies in it for the most part. Like, they're ridiculous, and I didn't like them. But I did like the demonic aspect of some of the zombies and how they change. So I like it for that reason, because it's almost like a different movie. And technically, it was called After Death, and it wasn't supposed to be a part of the zombie franchise at all.
It is technically a different movie.
Right, but they slapped on zombie for After Death and to try to sell it. So it's hard to compare. But the third one, you have Fulci, who fucking hated doing the movie. I don't know. Like, I feel like the third one's just a little bit more jumbled following wise, but it looked a little prettier at times.
Yeah.
Where the fourth one looked pretty and had some really cool moments in it. So it's really hard. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say, like, most people would be like, Zombie 3, of course, because Fulci. That's why they would say that.
Right.
And it's no skin off his back. He didn't even like the fucking movie. Nor did anybody, for that matter.
I'm going to pick 4 because the voodoo priest's wife is the best for me.
I like the demon-esque aspect, but I hated the zombies that they had in it.
I did too, and that's the thing. I really like the zombies from 3.
Right, they're way better than the third one, or the fourth one.
I like that whole cult demon feel from the 4th one. So I'm like, I'm mixed.
Plus, I
like the acting better in the 4th one.
Yeah, the characters are way interesting.
Yeah, they're way more developed and
way
cool,
more unique.
Where I thought they worked well in the 3rd one too, but there's more unique moments in 4 than there is 3. However, 3 does have that awesome stupid scene with the head flying out of the refrigerator, which is pretty cool.
How about we say this? It's a stalemate in a way, but Zombie 3 is the better zombie film.
Yes.
Zombie 4 is the more unique one.
That's perfect. I'm okay with this.
It's hard to because I'm surprised that I actually enjoyed part 4 as much as I did.
Same.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it just took more risks.
I can't draw a hard line in the sand on which one I would rather choose.
Right.
Over the other. So I like this compromise of 3 is a better zombie film. 4 is more unique.
And guys, seriously, after hearing this now and everything that we've talked about, would you pick the Zombie 3 movie just because Fulci's attached to it? Or do you actually genuinely like the movie? Do you like 4 over 3? I mean, where do you land? Honestly, I would love to hear you guys in the comments below. So yeah, definitely sound off, please. I would love to hear this because I'm going to put up probably a poll to see which one everybody likes more. And I'll probably put up everywhere, and then we'll fucking tally it up by the end of the week and see. So if you're not following us on Facebook, you're not following us on Twitter, you're not following us on any of the social media apps, all you got to do is go to the bottom of this, and we have a list of all of the different places. You can go to the links. There's little colored links at the bottom, and you can add us everywhere. Obviously, if you're following us on iTunes, give us a review. If you're following us on Podcast Addict, give us a rating. Give us a rating on iTunes, too. Whatever. It really does go to help out a lot. So, but love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for coming by this week. We'll obviously be back next week. We're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and maybe a spoiler review at the end of it. We'll see. Because we're seeing an advanced screening, so I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So we may just do a long spoiler review, do the news and everything. And
spoiler-free review.
Yeah, spoiler-free, sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to do a spoiler-free review of Mandy by Panos Cosmatos. So, but thanks again for coming by, guys, and we'll see you next week. And as always,
stay weird, monsters.
Listening to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every